Hi, let's solve this question on the board. So here I have an equation where 2 moles of hydrogen gas reacted with 1 mole of oxygen gas to produce 2 moles of steam. Steam because it's in the gaseous state. So the question said, in the reaction above, what volume of hydrogen would be left over when 300 cm cube of oxygen and 1000 cm cube of hydrogen are exploded in a sealed tube? This is a question from Gay Lussac's law of equal volume. So let's solve it quickly. So here, the only thing here is that you need to know the volume that was provided, relate it to the volume that reacted. Then you can decide whatever they asked you to decide here. They said we should decide for the volume of hydrogen that will be left over. From the question, they said 300 cm cube of oxygen and 1000 cm cube of hydrogen are exploded. So this is the volume that we provided, the volume that exploded. So let's take it down. For volume exploded, from the question I have that 300 cm cube of oxygen was exploded. So for oxygen I have 300, then 1000 cm cube of hydrogen. So for hydrogen I have 1000. Then when this volume were exploded, steam has not been formed. So for steam, nothing. Then how do I get the volume that reacted? So volume reacted. How do I get it? I will go back to the equation, and the equation must be balanced. Here the equation is already balanced. So from the equation I have that 2 moles of this is the moles, 2 moles of this, the moles will represent the volumes now. So 2 moles of this becomes 2 volume of hydrogen gas, then 1 mole is here, so I'll have 1 volume of oxygen, then 2 moles is here too, so I'll also have two volumes. So since I'm equating the moles to volume, the next thing I have to do is to check for the smallest volume that was provided. And if I check here, the smallest volume that was provided was 300. So I will equate this 300 to 1 volume. Then I will now say, by the side, I will tell myself, let 1 volume be equal to 300 cm cube. So anywhere I see 1 volume, it will be equivalent to 300 cm cube. Okay, so let me go over and start again. So here I have 2 volumes. So since I have 2 volumes here and 1 volume is 300, it means that 2 volumes will become 300 times 2. And 300 times 2 is 600. So the volumes that reacted here is 600 cm cube. Then coming to oxygen, I have just 1 volume that reacted, and 1 volume is 300. So 300 times 1 will give me 300 cm cube. And when they reacted, there is a product. So, and the product is steam. And what was formed was 2 volumes of steam. Hence, 1 volume is 300. So 2 volume is 300 times 2, which is 600 cm cube. So now I can now do the takeaway. I will find the difference if there is any. So finding the difference will give me the volumes left. Hence, volumes left For hydrogen, I will say 1000 minus 600, that will give me 400 cm cube. For oxygen, 300 minus 300, that's 0 cm cube. And for steam, I will bring down what was formed, 600 cm cube. So looking at this, I think the answer is simple. What volume of hydrogen would be left over? It's clear, 400 cm cube, and this is the correct answer. Hope you enjoyed it. Drop your questions in the comment section. Bye. 50 cm cube of carbon 2 oxide was exploded with 150 cm cube of air containing 20% oxygen by volume. Which of the reactants was in excess? And I have my options here. So the first thing I should do is to write the equation for the reaction. It's a simple combustion reaction between carbon 2 oxide and oxygen. Carbon 2 oxide, which is a gas, plus oxygen gas to produce carbon 4 oxide. The next thing I should do is to ensure that this equation is balanced. If you can't balance a chemical equation, please visit the previous video on it. Thank you. So let me quickly balance it. At this point, the equation is balanced. And from the equation, I will notice that I have 2 volumes of this, of carbon 2 oxide, 1 volume of oxygen gas, and 2 volumes of carbon 4 oxide. My next step is to check the volumes that were provided. Also, volume exploded. So they said 50 cm cube of carbon 2 oxide was exploded. So for carbon 2 oxide, I have 50 cm cube was exploded with 150 cm cube of air. And you know that in air, we have many gases in air. Oxygen is there, nitrogen is there, carbon 4 oxide is there, and so on. Hence, they said that this air contains 20% oxygen. So let me quickly find the volume of oxygen that is there. So I will check 20% of 150 cm cube. That is the quantity of oxygen there. And 20% is simply 20 over 100 times 150 over 1. So it is equal to 30 cm cube. So 30 cm cube of oxygen was provided. Okay, so here I will say 30 cm cube, and at this point no product yet because they've not reacted, so no product. The next step is the volume that reacted. Volume reacted. Now, the next thing I will do is to find the volume that will represent 1 volume. So from here, oxygen is 1 volume, and if I say that 1 volume should be equals to 30 cm cube, because I have 30 cm cube of oxygen, it means that 2 volumes will be 60 cm cube. And here that I have 2 volumes, it's not even up to 60 cm cube, so this will not work. I will check for another one. So let me come here and say for carbon 2 oxide, let me say let 2 volumes be equal to 50 cm cube, because that's the maximum that was provided, right? Hence, therefore, 1 volume will be equal to 50 divided by 2, which will give me 25 cm cube. So, and here that I have 1 volume, I have more than 25, so this will work. Hence, 1 volume will be equivalent to 25 cm cube. So let me quickly dive into this since one volume is 25. So volumes that reacted, here I have 2 volumes. If one volume is 25, 2 volume is 2 times 25. That will give me 50 cm cube. Okay, here I have 1 volume. So and 1 volume is equivalent to 25 cm cube. So I have 25 cm cube. Then for carbon dioxide, I have 2 volumes. And 2 volumes will be, if 1 volume is 25, 2 volume will be 2 times 25, giving me 50 cm cube. Then the next step is to find their difference. Let me quickly find their difference. So if I find their difference, I will say 50 take away 50 will give me 0 cm cube, which means all of them were used. Then 30 take away 25, I will have 5 cm cube, and then I will bring down 50 cm cube. Now, after this, let me go back to the question and know what they are demanding. They said, which of the reactants was in excess? I have 2 reactants, carbon 2 oxide and oxygen. So it means oxygen was in excess. We have 5 cm cube excess of oxygen. So from there, my answer is clear. Oxygen is the answer. Very simple, right? Drop something in the comment section. Thank you.